Now it's about financial services coming to me, and I can engage with financial services on my terms. And I will own, in some cases, my own data, and I will be able to create, in some cases, my own products.
Is this the new possibility and the new customer? If so, how did we get here so fast? And are we ready? Hello, I'm Ross Campbell, leading on digital at Genre and your host for this podcast series. Join me on an audio adventure that restrings insights from our global research into compelling considerations for the future, for discussion and exploration with you, your team, your company, and our innovation partners. Episode 2 of 10.
One of the big trends that we shared with the market last year was the idea of a mecosystem, that we've evolved from being an ecosystem where everything exists within a space where there's things for me to touch and feel, to everything must come to me because I've got a phone, I've got a computer. So if brands start to live closer to me and fit into how I live my life every single day, I notice you more because there's so much choice in the world that for you to shout above everybody else, proximity and intimacy becomes a key driver. What I've seen with insurance companies is that they haven't evolved when it comes to how they distribute their products, and also how they communicate with customers. The mecosystem says, whatever you want from me must come closer to me. But coming closer to me, that find another way for me to be able to notice you in my day-to-day living.
Coming closer to people is a challenge for an industry that's low on trust, one that offers products that are not top of mind or always easily accessible. It's a challenge when our service model does not naturally bring us close with our customers. But with increasing amounts of digital health data being generated and stored by individuals, it's a challenge we must meet.
If an organisation could demonstrate to me that they could hold my data in a safe and secure way, and then they said to me, you know, Alex, if you shared some of this data and information with us, not only have you created an element of trust in terms of this engagement, but now I'm actually listening to you at the same time, right? And we'll do that before I think about anybody else. And that's what we've now shifted, right? So we've gone from 1 to 2 engagement points a year, which are to do with relatively, negative experiences, to all of a sudden, you're helping me avoid those negative experiences in the first place and giving me a pathway to fulfillment.
This speaks to the theme of life and health insurance switching to life enablement. Our fundamental knowledge of biometric risk, not just used to price or underwrite, but actively shared with policyholders in attractive ways that will positively influence their health and well-being. And then there's making the idea of purchasing protection more compelling to more people.
Got to bust out of the current paradigm of insurance-oriented thinking as the product is one thing and it needs to be experienced one way. And we've got to get down to the fundamental truth, which is, what are the problems that insurance solves for people? How does it make people feel safer? How does it mitigate against uncertainty? And given the full range of technologies that we have available, how might we match those new technologies to solving the fundamental truth that our industry promises in new and interesting ways?
So the future really is going to be one where you have to think not about customer behavior in the past, but about jobs that need to be done in the future. And that's not a data process. That's more of a process about understanding what has to happen for people to get the job done that they want to get done. In that model, if you're focused on improving existing products, then you're going to quickly lose the race, because the race is being run around jobs that need to get done. And that means that you have to understand not the customer, but the job that that customer needs to get done or wants to get done. And therefore you need to innovate based on that, not on an existing product or on a customer need or past data.
The insurance industry is a what-if industry. What if something were happening to your car? What if something were happening to your health? What if you lost your job? We believe that over time, it could become a so-how industry. So how do I live a better life? So how do I avoid that risk? So how can I edit my child's genes so that he can actually live a typically developing child's life? So how? As soon as we make the transition from a what if business proposition to a so-how. We're really redefining where risk products can play a role in people's lives.
The concept of being a life enabler gives a relevancy to what we do, which you don't necessarily get from a more basic life insurance product construct. And I think it also starts to take you in a different direction. It makes what we do much more holistic.
This really resonates for me because this is what I believe the life insurance industry is really about. So how can insurers make this leap to become life enabling? One way could be to rethink how we design solutions for customers in the first place. Here's Dr. Morne Mostert from Stellenbosch University.
My sense is that insurance companies of the future may very well not be started by actuaries. They'll be started by people who have a sense of what the need in the common good is. People perhaps who are anthropologists or sociologists or artists or psychologists, people who can somehow, perhaps quite paradoxically, engage really with what it means to be human.
But it's not just the futurists who are thinking this way. Actuaries are thinking differently too.
I think we are now entering a new phase where it's not the intermediary and it's not the product actually that's important. It's the customer that is now at the center. And what the customer is demanding is very different to what we provided in the past. So not only do they demand products that meet their specific needs and flexibility around those needs, they are also very demanding on how they want to interact and engage with the industry.
I don't think actuaries are design thinkers by nature, so maybe the people that should run the businesses should change.
And how insurance products find customers is changing too.
The way how we think about product and the way how we think about what we offer to our customers has totally changed in the last 10 years. It's really moved from essentially ideas cooked up financially by actuaries and then thrown out to market to see if we would find an audience, to turning that on its head and creating proposition capability that starts with driving deep insight into customers' financial lives and financial needs, and then not quite co-creating, but intensively testing and retesting with customers what would work for them and what would make a positive difference in their financial lives. So we construct products very, very differently today from how we used to a generation ago. Where technology is really powerful is in becoming better at understanding customers, understanding their lives, creating proposition responses that are fit for purpose and meet customers' expectations, and make sure that as they go through their lives, the propositions we create keep shifting and shaping in line with how their lives change. That to me is the smart end of technology adoption.
But then our disruptor friends have very different ideas, like machines delivering a more human-centered solution based on customer interaction and feedback.
So when we're talking about using machine learning to interact with customers, it's not only just to journey them through their product, but the insights that come out of machines and humans having conversations will be absolutely fundamental in how products are designed going forward. And it's almost building in that natural human-centered design functionality where the customers are saying, I don't like that, I do like that, that's valuable to me, that's not valuable to me. And often customers are more willing to say that to a machine than they are to another human.
And there's a much more fundamental need for the insurance industry to address, and that is growing the market and putting valuable protection products into the hands of more people who need them.
Through mobile technology, one can deliver a product far cheaper than a traditional channel and really access people that with mobile phones that, in a non-traditional way. So that's one practical example. I think also, with our solutions being embedded in different other solutions over time, certainly it can be seen as more of a value-add solution and a more flexible solution.
How do we involve that next 2 billion who perhaps would be able to get maybe micro insurance products, smaller amount of insurance at the time that they need it? The second is the idea of embedded. We need to go where the customers already are and perhaps to embed risk products into what they're already doing.
So you have this large portion of the population that are left outside of formal financial services and not benefiting from that. So I think step one is to include and find ways of including higher portions of the population. And the metrics of that is not purely financial. In some cases, the metrics of that should be number of users, number of people engaging with your products. And as these consumers start using financial services, they will then migrate, up the value chain to higher return products.
Whatever market you're in, there's an opportunity for greater inclusion. Technology can help, but it can't do it alone. As the experts in risk, we also need to think differently.
How do you reimagine insurance? I think it's at the point now where you've almost got to just wipe the board clean and start completely afresh. If I, for myself, imagine how would I like my insurance experience to be, then I would want it to be seamless. I would want it to be in my face when I need it to be, but to effectively be my guardian in everyday life. So you can almost reimagine the depth of support you can provide a customer as well as the breadth. But if we then go, wow, okay, we've got a balance sheet and we've got all these customers and we know these customers want all these things. What are the solutions and products we can now provide that potentially have nothing to do with an underlying insurance product? That's a brave thing to ask.
It is brave. It's almost coming up with an anything but insurance offering. Let's give ourselves a chance to imagine something quite different.
What if we out-designed ourselves so that the thing that we've been doing for the last 150 years, we stop doing completely, but we use everything we've done for the last 150 years to do this new thing?
What if we did that? What would the new thing look like? It's something Gen Re is excited to explore with our clients around the world. Investing our intellectual capital in client or startup digital and 21st century ambitions is central to our digital strategy. We really want to talk to you about digital. Call your local Gen Re office to make that happen, or get in touch with me direct. And please join me in the next podcast to hear more insights.